Well, I was browsing the internet a couple of months ago and I came across this story of a young man. And he had a pretty inspirational story, really interesting background, had a tough childhood, apparently emotionally abused by the parents, and had to go through some pretty harsh times. He shared about having to sleep in a storeroom for a couple of months as he was finding his jobs and stuff like that. And the interesting bit was that he then overcame these obstacles and found himself being a motivational speaker, coach, trainer. And being in that space, myself for the last 20 years as a trainer, a coach, and a speaker, I found this story to be really intriguing. So a couple of days ago, I sort of got a message from a friend of mine, and guess what? He quit to find himself. I'm not sure where one would go to find yourself, but apparently he went somewhere to find himself. So I thought that the session for today, we would go a little bit deeper into this and maybe see if there are any learning lessons that we could possibly draw upon. Here's my take on what happened, and this is just a purely personal opinion. But my thoughts are at 25 years old, so it's pretty young. It couldn't have been in the training industry or the speaking industry for that long. 25 years old, went to find himself. And as I read through some of the messages that he was sending out and some of the posts that were up on the feed on Facebook and so on and so forth, there seemed to be a certain trend. So here's my first point for you. It can't be about you all the time. And that was a bit of a trend that I was observing in most of the postings, that it was very much about him. And here's what it means to you. If everything is about you, then after a while, you're going to lose yourself. And if you can't find yourself, you're going to end up in a really bad space. So in order for a person to be able to find meaning, here's a tip. Find meaning in something other than yourself. Now, I know Hollywood tells you a really nice message about being who you're meant to be and being, achieving your greatest, fullest potential. But the reality of the matter, in my view at the very least, is that you've got to find meaning in things that are bigger than you, that are more than you, that are having purpose to other people and not just to yourself. So it can't be about you all the time. That's the first tip. The second tip, and this is for all you young people out there, this is a hard one. Reality. Reality bites. Reality can hit, and it can hit hard. You gotta understand that life isn't an event. Life isn't about whether or not you complete a project. Life isn't something that happens and after which you put something up on Facebook, on Instagram. That's not life. Those are events. Life is a collection of those events. So the marathon that you're running is something that you gotta be prepared for. If you prepare for a sprint when you're actually in a marathon, guess what? You're not gonna last beyond the first kilometer. And that's dangerous. So mentally, emotionally, you gotta prepare for the fact that you're in a marathon and you're not in a sprint. So don't behave as though you're in a sprint, because life will then punish you really, really badly. The third point that I thought I'd share with you, after being in this space for close to 20 years now, speaker, trainer, coach, etc., is that what a lot of people don't realize is that we're human too. And we will wake up with good days, we will wake up with bad days. We will wake up one day hardly being able to inspire ourselves, let alone having to inspire other people. And that's life, that's normal. You gotta give yourself license to feel that way once in a while. It's all right, it's not wrong to feel that way, because if you didn't, then there would be something very wrong with you. But here's the thing though, there is also an element of professionalism. that we are professionals, and therefore if our calling is then to go and to inspire and to help people find themselves and to be professionally committed to that, then there is also an element of honor, of integrity. Remember the first point, that it wasn't about yourself? My question would be, if I were to drop this today and disappear off the grid tomorrow, what would happen to the people that I had given my commitments to? What would happen to my friends who rely on me, my family that relies on me? What would happen to all the people who read my postings and get inspired because I say, you know what, if you give up today, what were you fighting for? We have a duty, we have a responsibility, and it is something that we've got to consider, that when you live a life and it's not just about you, then your life that you've chosen, you've got to live it also for other people and not just for you. Because I think it might be very noble and it sounds really cool to go and find yourself. But if other people get lost as you find yourself because of the actions that you took to find yourself, I don't think that's very cool. So, a sense of responsibility and being professional, I think is very important. Now, I don't mean to run down anybody, but having read through it, I thought it was a really interesting case study, because I think a lot of us are going through those moments in life. Moments when we feel like we want to give up, moments when we feel like, there isn't any more meaning, and so on and so forth. But if you are going through those sessions or going through those tough times, my advice would be, you know what, keep your head down, keep moving. The only way you can find a path opening up to you is if you keep moving and you keep climbing. If you stay where you are, or even worse, get off the track and try to find new paths, you will always be searching. And there are many things to find, but the only way to find yourself is to look within you, because you're not anywhere else except exactly right where you are today.